Hello, you guys. Welcome back. And I am so excited to be doing this project because spring is here, and Spring Bouquet is the name of our project of the month. So be sure to enter the contest by doing this painting, taking this challenge, and sharing your painting with me either through the Jack's Art Challenge tag, or you can go on Facebook and use the Jack's Art Challenge tag. So you can do this on Instagram if you're not on Facebook. You can even send it in if you want to. So however you get in touch with me, that is how you should be submitting it. But if you are in part of our group on Facebook, then certainly do it there, because you're going to get a lot of attention and people are going to want to see. So in any case, depending on your subscription level, there are different packages, but essentially they have pretty much the same thing. So it is still the Spring Bouquet. Some of you will receive these pretty pink boxes with perhaps one of our new honey pots, which are going crazy. I can't even seem to keep these in stock. So if you are one lucky girl or gentleman who received a thank you honey pot, this is our featured color, which is Azure Cobalt Cerulean. It is a beautiful, beautiful blue, and it's used in my painting. And then you will get also, we have the vermilion, which is also a featured color. So here where I am, you can see these are opening fine and there's not any spillage. If you are seeing a lot of extra, then you would want to typically put, depending on where you live, put everything in the freezer before you open it, because this is how it's opening here, but this isn't necessarily how it's going to be where you are. So depending on your level of humidity or the heat level, these beautiful handmade watercolors are either going to come out clean or they're not. And if they don't, you can still use them off of the wrapper, but I say just make it a little easier for yourself and freeze them. So in any case, 10 minutes will do it, and it should come right off the wrapper just like that. So that's what you can expect. If you're getting something else, it's just the humidity and where you are, they are like honey watercolor, can be really sticky. I let them go to set as long as I can. And here's one. Here you can see the green is kind of sticking a little bit, but still not too bad. Not really, not too bad. And then some of you will have this extra and that is because you got a honey pot, just in case you are keeping them in a certain way, like maybe you're stacking these up in your 3-ring binder. So then you would take a little bit of this, put it in there, let it all dry, and then you could glue it all together, and put it on these cards. So you have the sample card, which is a watercolor print of a painting that has been so popular for me over the years, and something that so many people have asked me to do. So I'm really glad that I'm doing this video and showing you how to paint this, because it's quite simple actually. I'm probably gonna do more review on this box than anything else, but the Spring Bouquet theme is such a wonderful theme to me because it really does transcend that feeling of renewal and beauty and get you thinking about nature and appreciating all of the lovely flowers and botanicals we have around us every day. I mean, I know for one, I have a ton of house tropicals and things that I paint. So in my studio at any given day, if you've ever seen me on Instagram or seen my pictures, I literally have like 100 plants in my house and in my studio. And it's just great because I always have something that's ready to paint and that I'm inspired by. This sheet here tells you all about the colors and does say freeze your watercolor pans for 10 minutes, but I know a lot of you can't wait to get to them, so you just open them before you read anything, and that's okay. Everything can be solved. So it is Jack's Vermilion, which is a very special sauce mixed with pigment PR242 and is light fast, which is not typical for a vermilion, but it is a gorgeous, light fast, bright, while maintaining those lovely warm undertone colors. You can mix it with yellows to bring out more of the orange and get all those ranges. You can mix it with reds to get it even more deep. You can mix it with blue. There's so many things you can do with it. Phthalo turquoise, which is PB15-3 as opposed to all the different ones, and it's a brilliant pigment. It does have a greenish shade and it is a highly staining color, so be careful not to get it on anything. It's light, fast, it's transparent, and it is slightly granulating, the one that I gave you. Which is unusual because a lot of times you'll get a phthalo blue or a phthalo turquoise and it's not granulating at all. This one, slight bit. The Azure Cobalt Cerulean is a rare pigment that you're getting in this kit, and it is blended with the PB35 and the highly granulating PB36. The reason why is because it gives it a little more creaminess and a little more heavily pigmented. So if you've ever used a true cerulean, sometimes you feel like you can't really get that really brilliant color out of it. This is one that will not do that, and I kind of fixed it because me as an artist, that's what I prefer. So you're getting something that I typically use on projects like this. Then Spring Emerald. I love Spring Emerald. It's such a great color. PB36 granulating texture. It's a leafy, bright green, but it's creamy. It's easy to mix with so many things, and it is a non-muddy color. So this specific green is a non-muddying color. So that means if you have a muddy mix and you don't know what to do, you could throw some of that in it and it will eventually bring you back to that green and you won't have wasted your paint. You probably won't get a transparent layer, although if you wash it down you might, but like if you're trying to save a muddy mix with it, depending on what you have in there already, it will give you something you can work with that you'll like, but it probably will be a little more opaque by that time because you probably have a bunch of maybe fillers and pigments in there that have a lot of filler. But in any case, it is a non-muddy sap green that you will love. And then there's Sweet Lemons, which is one of my most popular yellows, which is equal to PY3, which is a Hansa yellow. It's light, it's transparent, it's highly tinting. It can mix in anything beautifully, and you will have a ball mixing that with so many. There is a watercolor print card here if you just want to play around a little bit and come up with something else that you'd like to send in and show me how you painted. So that's just kind of a really fun little extra. There is a swatch card here to swatch out the colors and some practice area. These are mostly the size of those little, the reason why I do them in this size is because they go into that little binder that we used to sell on the website that a lot of you have. If we do them too big, they really are just a waste of watercolor paper because I give you watercolor paper, but these are just for practice notes and just to swatch your colors, just to demo a little bit. You can even photocopy these and put them on something else, or you can just copy the layout and do it on something else. And then this is for the mixing greens sample card. So I've got a little sample card of both Jack's watercolor mixed in with some Paul Rubens. Just if you are curious about trying some, My Mary Blue is on here too, and that is showing you how to mix greens. So we can easily do a separate video on mixing greens, which I think, so that this video won't be too long. So we'll address this in a separate video. That'll be another video we'll do. And then you've got some paper, and depending on your level of subscription and the package that you received, your paper is either going to be flashcard size so that you can practice and continue on with your flashcards, or it's going to be a little larger size, which you can also make into flashcards just by splitting it in half. If you got the larger size, you got fewer sheets. If you got the flashcard size, you got double the sheets of this, because obviously it's the same amount of paper in every kit. So this is 100% cotton, 140 pound, 300 GSM Jack's cotton is what it's called, and it's on jackswatercolor.com. All right, guys, let's get to it, shall we? So I'm not gonna, well, I could swatch the colors for you. So I'll just put this here. Some of you, depending on your subscription level, would get a round brush to get started with, especially if you are new here. The idea of these packs is you can buy them for someone or get one and go take a class with it, you know, so you kind of need a brush, especially the new ones. Hopefully I managed to get brushes in all of the new ones and didn't mess that up, and if I did, please just email me and I will send you two. I will make sure that you have what you need. So this is a sample size of the honey pots. Typically, when you order honey pots, they are going to have like honey watercolor all the way up to the fill line. I've actually already used these. I can't even. So yeah, I've already used these, but they are typically up to the fill line. And then lately what I've been doing is I've been letting them set, because this is very, you can see it's a honey consistency, especially in warmer weather. So I'm trying to let them set a little bit more so that a lot doesn't go into the lid, which will make you feel like you didn't get a full honey pot, because a lot of it will go all over the lid, which is a significant amount of paint. But if I let them set a little bit longer, they won't slosh around so much in the transit, and then you'll be able to kind of figure it out maybe with a little less mess. But man, is it worth it, right? So on this particular painting, which I did years and years and years ago, I started with the lemons, from what I remember. Isn't that beautiful colors? Spring emerald. This is the phthalo turquoise, one of my favorites. Cobalt cerulean. Oof, so gorgeous. And vermilion. Yay. So just a lovely one, right? I'm so excited to paint this. Let's get started. So you can take your flashcards or make yourself a flashcard, or use half of this sheet. And we're just going to play with the colors. So essentially, to make these really interesting blooms, I actually held my brush to the side, and I just kind of thought of it as a V shape, just turning the brush like this and jagging it back and forth, adding just as much color as I felt that I wanted there. Now you have two choices. You can either let them dry in between, or you can play with mixing colors right on the page. And you can do different shades of this beautiful lemon yellow, you know? You can even mix it right on paper. So right away, if I wanted to, I could just dip my papers right in there and just do this. Just kind of slosh it around, and wow, look at that. I've got my beautiful first flower, just like that. And I can add a little bit more, just push it up there, follow that. I can even go here, and every time you do this, it's going to be random, beautiful, and unique. And see, I'm like holding my brush far away and just rolling. And then here, rolling and just kind of jagging it in. And whatever I get is what I get, and I'm happy with that. And if I want to add a little bit more, you can actually add some swipes. And that's it. That's how I did it. If you want to do a little lighter version, then just kind of dip your brush in water and, you know, just kind of do some stuff in the background like that. If it's too dark, just blot it, and you got that really, really nice kind of look, right? Just do this, blot that. So you can see how this is so much fun. I mean, you can blot as you go along. If you put too much in and you want more texture, look at that beautiful texture, just like that. Simple, easy peasy. If we want to do that flower in the center, we can additionally put a flower in the center. And see, I'm just using the tip of my brush to kind of do the thing. Isn't that great? So the more I leave, space, like white space in between, now you're going to start getting different shapes of the flower, not just like the side view, even though most of these are side view, but you can actually get a center view. And then if you wanted a little bit of yellow in the center, just go in and just splosh it right in the center like that. And then when it dries, you can always go back and get more. Very simple. So now let's just kind of think about what we're going to do next. So that was just our flashcard to practice the flowers. What would you do to do the stems? Well, you could take one of these nifty little detail brushes that we've had on the website, and you could easily just do that. Okay, you drip a little bit. I like to leave the drips, but you don't have to. You could even wait for this all to dry before you do it. if you are scared about, you know, combining the colors, and you want the them to be less messy, you can also take a little bit of your green, mix it with a little bit of your orange, and you're going to get a little deeper shade, more olivey sap green. You can take additionally a little bit of that blue and mix it in, and you'll get an even deeper, like kind of like a hunter green. So that's why we had that mixing green chart, just to kind of like get you warmed up, show you some different colors, and show you all the different things that you could do. So let's work on the bottom here. So really simple. So whatever brush, excuse me, whatever brush I take, it's all going to be good. So I can do my vase with a round brush. Excuse me. I can do it with a detail brush. I can do it with a flat brush. There's so many things. I mean, literally, you could use a flat brush to just outline the shape, and then bam, 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 right? You could use this brush to do it, and you can use a round brush. So I'm not really sure what brush to use so that kind of applies to everybody, but let's take a little bit of our, cerulean and do a quick shape here. Add a little bit of the darker blue and just kind of give it those quick little shakes, and then maybe use the darker blue to outline and come down and shape out our beautiful vase, making it less is more. And then I just take some water and brush it right over. Lovely, right? If you feel like that's too much, you can clean it up. I happen to really like that. It looks great. You can even add water from the very beginning. Let's switch brushes so that you can see a different brush used. So if you just want to use a brush like a round brush, whether it be a size like 6, 7, 8, 12, whatever size, you can take a little bit of the dark and just do that. Take a little bit more of the dark, give ourselves a really rough outline, and then just kind of go at it a little bit like this, just kind of gently shaping that shape. Another thing you can do is just take some water and just kind of top some water into the side, and then blot it up just to make it a little looser. So simple, right? Another thing you can do is, if you have like what is this, angular shader, you can use that to get some nice texture. Add a little water and just kind of feed it water in just a few little places. Get a really cool soft shape. Then adding stems right back in. Pretty simple. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can take, again, one of these little brushes, mix in the green with the color of the water, and just pull it right in just like that. Cool, right? You can get the darker green. I find that going from out to in works better for me because it's not so strong, you know. I just like kind of going from out to in, but that's just me. If you wanted it more strong, you can actually just dry off your brush, get this a little stronger, and as it's drying, hit it, you know, down from bottom to top, which will deliver the most amount of color. You can even go right in and pick up color and then drag it if you really want it very strong. And remember, if you mess up, you can always take some of the color out. Another good way to do this too is to use a scraping tool. So I don't know what you might have on hand. I have all kinds of stuff on hand, like a knitting needle or something, and you could just take some of the green that you have on hand here and literally scrape your stems in, and where you scrape, it's cutting right into the cotton paper. So that is actually what you're gonna get. You know, I happen to really like scraping my paper. I think it's really cool. Isn't that interesting? You can even go back in and scrape the ones you previously had. And what that does, I'll show you, is it makes that really neat texture in the paper, right? Gives it that weight. So great to make these flashcards and to be able to kind of like put your, you know, your whole painting together and just experiment with the colors and the tools that you have on hand. There is no right or wrong in watercolor. There is only the artist's vision, you know, and what the artist enjoys doing. Typically, there's not even a vision from the start. I mean, we have one obviously here, but there's not necessarily always a vision, you know. Some of the best art that I've ever seen or experienced has been visionless. It has been just random, you know, sitting down one night in front of the TV or wherever and just, you know, doing something really fun. So I'm going to very quickly do one of these for you right now, just kind of off the top of my head, and just play and have fun, not really worrying about anything, and I'll just kind of call out my shots so that you know what I'm doing. So I'm dipping my watercolor brush in water and just checking my mix here, getting it very, very sloppy, and I'm just gonna just do some fun random swipes, not even really worrying if I get a lot of color or not. And I kind of do want it very sketchy because that's just what I'm in the mood for. Rinsing my brush out, I am going to now grab a lot of yellow, and I'm kind of doing this on the mixing mat here in their mixing mat because I'm mixing in whatever red's still in my brush, and kind of being able to get a feel for what is on the brush right now. So I'm just going through. There's no rhyme to reason. There is just me playing and mixing color, and trying not to be specific. I just really want a bunch of splashy, beautiful, random flowers, not worrying about if they go off the page or if one has more yellow than the other. Just, yeah, just going crazy. Adding a lot of water to this one, and I'll probably take that towel and just kind of dry it a little bit so it goes into the background. I do kind of want some more texture on these, so I'm just going to do them that way because I love randomness. Okay, so as I'm going through, let's go ahead and just start. I think I'll do it with the same brush. So I had mixed some green, right? I had some blue and some green and some yellow. So first, let's just dip my brush just for fun in that blue. And if my stems are kind of going here, I'm actually, just for fun, just gonna kind of do this here and design an interesting vase that fits behind, right? So I just kind of like visually, I'm imagining how my flowers are sitting, and I'm just kind of fitting it behind this flower. You see that? And that's just, I think, something that happens with experience of just arranging flowers and, you know, having them in your studio and stuff. Okay, so we're going to leave it like that. I love that. It's really pretty. I'm going to take some of my cerulean, and I'm just gonna wash it through. Very spotty as this is dry. Now remember, when the cerulean hits the yellow, it turns green. And you have green stems going in, so you really don't have to worry about it. See how easy that is? Yep, it was just that easy when I did it originally the first time too. I just kind of went over everything. It was random. It wasn't really that, it was not that like, it was very fast. And it's one of my most favored paintings. It's definitely one that everybody always orders. They order the print of this a lot. So let's do some stems, shall we? I kind of want to scratch them in a little bit. I think I do. Let's just scratch them in at first, at least, with some heavy paint. So I'm just going to kind of grab this and kind of get it on my thing. You can even do this with a stick, you know, just to go out for a walk and get a stick. So I'm just kind of scraping them in. You can see this is not really even as good of a stick. It doesn't really hold onto the color like it should, but I just kind of want that scrapiness going on there. And then I'm going to take this brush, which is a long version of that, and just get a little wet. Just kind of give us, in some areas, just a little more. Yep. And I really liked seeing it like scrapey through. That was very attractive to me. Then I'm going to take this brush, or the tip of your brush, and the cerulean, and we're just going to put those nice random dots in. So literally, like, you can even rest your, just keep your hands straight and literally like tap your wrist, which I think even looks better. And again, go off the page. Don't be afraid. It actually looks so much better than trying to fit something on your paper. A lot of people are like, I ran out of room. You don't really, because you're just putting your painting in a box is what you're doing. You ran out of room because you're imagining that it can't go outside of the paper area, but most great art does. So we'll just do some random stuff here, because we want our little arrangement to look very full and pretty. Here we go. That looks good. I like that. I can even kind of darken up some of these background areas with what's left on my brush and just kind of scrape it in. Give it some texture. Just like you see in the original painting, you see these little texture lines, just texture lines. And here, just random texture lines. I actually, just as simple as that, just scrape and have fun. This is probably the most fun that you're gonna have, right? And we're getting really messy. It's great, right? And we're gonna dip our paintbrush back in and then go back and like kind of, I don't know, like look for areas that might like a petal, an enhanced petal with a little more of this brilliant, gorgeous color, just like that. It gives you just a little more interesting petal shape, and I'm just pushing it. Just push it into the page. Don't try to shape it too much. Let the brush do the work. Just like that. So now we have some open flowers, right? And all of a sudden they don't look so stiff anymore. Why? Because we're not trying so hard. We're just kind of like going with the flow. And then this empty area, what am I going to do? Well, I left it there for a reason, because I wanted you to see that really literally you can add another flower over everything if you want to, because this is just a beautiful, beautiful vermilion with a really, really bright saturated yellow, and the base of it will just be naturally more green. So you just kind of clean it up, take your scraping tool, and finish those stems. Just like that. And look how lovely that is. I actually like going back in when things are wet and trying to, you know, like make sense out of where things are going to be, and even going back over things like that. Getting a little dry brushing going on, and a little water to the brush in a very, very light way, so that you have some kind of going off the page with like a little shadowy vision or a little splotch here or there. Cool, right? And I'm just kind of filling things out. So now, like, just stand back and look and see, like, do we want to finish this? Do we want to add more yellow? What, you know, what is it? Do we want to leave it like it is? Is it random? Do you have a really cool perspective? Does it look interesting? It does. To me, it looks very interesting, and I'm really happy with it. I like that the flowers are going in a lot of different directions. It's like similar but completely different, and I could literally do this all day long and come out with something different every single time and just have a ball doing it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. On the next video, I'm going to do the making greens for this, so that you can, if you want to take lessons with me, I have a bunch of classes, guys. I would love to see you come in and get lifetime access with a special discount. So just follow the link in the bottom or go to jackswatercolor.com. You'll see the take the lessons area, and you can come in and take lessons. I've got some great journaling classes. There's two beautiful floral classes if you really like fun florals. Especially the spontaneous one is more stuff like this that's really spontaneous and kind of wild and fun and crazy. Then there's also ones where you make flashcards. I mean, there's just so many. Just start wherever you're inspired and enjoy and just have a good time. But definitely come in and take some lessons with me. I think we'll have a really good time and have some fun together. I do sell the watercolor as well because I make it at jackswatercolor.com. And you guys have a big hug on me and a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you're enjoying this, and I thank you so much for being here. I really do. You warm my heart, and I just love every single one of my subscribers so much. You guys are amazing. When you call me, I love to hear from you, and it's really exciting for me to hear all the feedback. So go enjoy, have fun, paint up a bunch of these, and just let me see them. Jack's Art Challenge is the hashtag. All right, bye guys. See you later.